Okay, this is the start of the drone chassis. So let's just start. These are some of the models that I've saved already. Plus sign, and we're going to write in drone version 1. Okay, so drone version 1, just leave it as private, go OK, OK again. Okay, now that will create the file, and this is what your starting environment will look like. So if you've done a little bit of research on this program already, what I'm going to show you is the basic function of how you would create that chassis. So one finger on the screen allows me to move it, two fingers stretched apart allows me to zoom in and out, and to select, if I press and hold and just leave my finger on this position, I get a crosshair. Wherever I move it to, it's going to highlight on that particular entity. Okay, so I can either touch it again to disengage it, press and hold and just wait, and then move the crosshair to where I want. So I'm going to use the crosshair, and I'm going to select that plane. So you can only sketch on a plane, so if one of those isn't engaged, you can't sketch. Up the top here, you'll notice that you've got a pencil and a circle in the top left corner. If you touch and hold on that, you'll notice these are all the sketching tools. So you can draw lines and squares and circles and rectangles. A slot down in the middle there that we're going to use a bit later. So at the moment, I just want to draw the rectangular body of half the chassis, because one side of the chassis and the other side of the chassis are the same. So I'm going to pick the rectangle tool. I'm going to press, see where I put a dot. I don't want that out there, so let's go undo. I'm going to go get rid of that, any of those sections. So that's what I'm selecting, rectangle, and just touch the dot in the middle, and then just move your finger somewhere out onto the screen. So it doesn't really matter where yet. Just create something around about that shape. One thing I need to check right now, I need to go to the three dots up in the right hand corner, and I need to check the units are set to millimeters and degrees, which it is. Make sure you check that. And I'm going to, don't want that extra dot. Okay, it's gone again. Click on it, click on the dot, move, set. Now while I'm in that mode, I also want to put some measurements on that. So if I click on the pencil again, and I go down about halfway, you'll see dimensions with a little arrow. Each tool that you're using, you'll notice appears in the top corner there. You'll see a little blue box around the arrow on the top. And all I've got to do is I press and hold, touch on that line, press and drag that measurement out to the side. And for instance, I'm going to make a chassis size around about, off my sketches, probably about 100 long. And remembering, I only want to keep half the size of the chassis. So if my chassis was normally 80 millimeters wide, I'm only going to make this 40 millimeters wide. So the dimension tool is still engaged up there. I'm going to click on this line, drag the measurement out. Now nothing will happen unless I touch somewhere in the white space. If I touch in the white space, you'll notice this dialog box comes up. Now remember I said I wanted 80, so 40 is half, not 4. If I double click, on that measurement because it was wrong, I needed 40. Okay, there's the first sketch. So I'm going to say tick the box down the bottom, and what I've got is half. So if you move it round, it's directly half on that plane. Now we need to put some mounting holes into that. So what I'm going to do, any of these that engage, you can engage or disengage just by touching them. I want to create on that surface extruded 3mm thick. So I want to make the actual piece of material 3mm thick. So if I go to the little round sphere at the top, and I click and hold my finger on it, and then I click on the extrude, the top left hand corner one, and all I've got to do is touch that shape. If I touch in the middle of the rectangle, I can drag this box up and down, and the thickness that I'm after, if I just touch in that 25mm space, the plastic that we use, or the acrylic, or the 3mm ply, it's all around about the 3mm. So 3mm is what we'll work to. You notice that millimetres is showing beside there, and we'll click OK to that. Tick the box. Okay, so what we've got at the moment is half of the chassis, but we don't have any mount holes, we don't have the edges rounded off a bit nicer, and we definitely don't have any slot for the wheel to run in. So that will be the end of tutorial 1.